always been my philosophy. Sometimes when I'm on the board of these things, and I think many of you were on national boards and we're the only, the only beans there. And I go, well, where's the rice? You know, and where's the Native Americans and stuff? And I've always been there. And all due respect to the African American community, I've had the pleasure of talking at Black Brown summits across the country. I say, we will, in all due respect, not make the mistake you made. I always say the Golden State's turning brown, and many states are turning brown. But we all have to remember as we go into these positions, as more and more, that we have to look out and make sure we bring people with us, wise. And sad to say, and I've said it publicly and stuff, and they all agree. I go, I would be here, and the African American leadership, they never fought for us to make sure we were at the table. I said, we're not going to make, because it's shrinking. Now and I said, we will always be committed to you. Because to me, the Black community was definitely the civil rights started in this thing. We've learned everything from them, be it Latinos, be it gays. We've learned so much from them. When I was a kid, I was bullied because they called me wetback, spick, and everything, and queer and everything. There was a double bullying going on. You've got to be very committed to make sure that this stops. And not only, let's not just focus on gay and lesbians either, because there's people that are bullied because they're great, because they're Muslim and all this. The bullying of any children and the suicides of any children should affect us all. Not just the gay and lesbian, but it's obviously that this is an issue, thank God, that people are finally focused on. I had the honor of working with Cesar Chavez and introducing him at the March on March. I couldn't believe he would come up. They said, why don't you invite him? And if you know anything about him, he's so humble. And he said, yeah, I'll come. And he came and he marched. And I tell this story because you need to know, well, because Jesse Jackson was there and Chavez, and there was all these dignitaries and one of the senators from Minnesota and stuff. So, of course, everyone wanted to be in the lead banner. And if you see every march, you'll notice I'm always in the lead banner. And Chavez was very, and I said, Senor Chavez, he goes, no, I'm going to march all the way. So then Jesse Jackson goes, he goes, oh, yes, I'm going to march all the way too. And then, I forgot all about it. And Chavez marched all the way, and right at the last block, all of a sudden Jesse Jackson came out because that's where the cameras were. And I always remember that because, and then there was a VIP tent. And I go, Senor Chavez, would you? And he goes, no. He goes, I never go into VIP tents. He says, I would like to be among the people. It was something that I'll never forget, that what you saw, he was such a humble person, very much like Martin Luther King. He was so humble, wise, and little things like that, wise. And when I introduced them, it was such an honor. But even then, we have a rich history, Latinos and the gay. Think about Stonewall. It was Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans and African Americans fighting back, and the lowest of the low in their mind, and many of them drag queens. But what I hate they forget is there was a lot of lesbians, a lot of bull dykes that were fighting right along with the drag queens, and we have to not forget that. Is Jose, and people have forgotten him. Jose, and think about this, 1961, totally illegal to be homos, And to hear the police in San Francisco harassing and stuff, and he's alive. If you ever can talk, he's 80-some years old. He'll tell you the most beautiful stories. And they all went to him and said, Jose, you're going to run for supervisor. And he goes, why me? He goes, because everyone knows you. You're the entertainer. Supervisor. 1961. Jose didn't have one male clothing. He had to borrow the suit. He made his living in drag, went out of drag for like 6 months to run. He knew the importance, and you saw how close he came to winning. But let's don't forget, it was a Latino who was the first opening. He paved the way for everyone, be it Harvey Milk, for Barney Frank, everyone. It was a Latino who paved the way, a little crazy Latino drag queen that paved the way. And that's part of our history, wise. And why I brought Stonewall is I'll never forget the 25th anniversary of Stonewall when I got this brochure and it said, join us in New York, 25th anniversary, when the patrons fought back of the Stonewall Inn. Well, you know me, I got on the phone and called the little number. I go, could you explain to me who the patrons were? I said, what are you sanitizing them? They were Latinos. Oh, well, if you don't like it, come to the regional meeting. I go, honey, I got my ass there. And you know me, the next thing I was national chair. So, I'm not a power-hungry bitch, excuse my language. But who was recognized with a casualty, not a casualty, but that was wounded and got awards and everything, and this Iraq war, was also a Latino from Texas, a gay Latino, wise, and he was the first. So we have all this history, and I encourage all of you to learn about this history. I'm really honored that these two people gave it to me, because Larry is modest. He should get every award, because many times while we were doing this thing, Larry was involved right in the middle of the Latino community. Can you imagine in the set where the Golden Girls? But Larry was involved. And all of these Latino organizations, and honey, he let everyone know, I'm a reina, honey, But that was important because who would have the nerve? But Larry silently, quietly, but being there, representing. I remember when Jess Harrell, the first Latino to run for and win at City Hall, and we got involved in this campaign, and we were so excited, wise. But the importance of these bridge building is very important because we are their family, wise. And if we're going to change minds, we all have to make sure we're out there educating people. But we also have a big task. I remember when I was the state chair of Equality California, we actually had a debate. You're going to love this. We had a debate if we should support the bill to make Chavez a legal holiday in the state. There was actually a debate, and I'm not going to say the other Latino who was on the board with me, but who is a public officer now. he was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't. I said, what do you mean? We need to get behind this bill. Just like this, that, because I knew, I said, someday we'll want one for Harvey Milk, but that wasn't it. Chavez was the first, and you should know this. Before anybody, Chavez was the first civil rights person that came out for homosexual rights. The first one. There was no one else. No one else. And why did he? Because Harvey and him agreed about the Great Boycott. And Harvey got that wine out of the bars and stuff. So there was a friendship and a together. Dolores Huerta can tell you the story about Harvey. And I remember because Chavez told me, and I said, how? Because he would say, we're going to support these homosexuals and stuff. And you can imagine saying that in the 70s. And people say, are you crazy? They lobbied him not to come to the march in Washington. All the Latinos, you cannot go to that little Joto march. Are you crazy? He says, no way. But in his autobiography and his family, do you know what he says? It's what he says. The gay march was the biggest march I ever addressed in my life till his dying day. The gay march, thank God it was the right one where there was hundreds of thousands. He would tell everyone. They go, what is the biggest march? He goes, the gay march in Washington. He goes, that was the biggest march. So these are all historic things that you need to know about, and we have bragging rights about them. Don't let it get lost, because when you look at it, people are trying to change our history. They're trying to change it to make it more, oh, well, it's nothing, and we shouldn't allow that. So I want to remind you, just like it was a California thing, we need to be on these boards. You need to go, this is very important.
Yes.
I mean, because this is so important, because it also shows, because we need to support Latino candidates, be they gay or straight that are out. Lorena, I mean, she might as well be a honorary lesbian or a drag queen. We'll start that rumor. No. But, yeah, we need to support Alberto. I mean, he ran in Chula Vista and embraced it. I don't think there's too many people that run for office in Chula Vista or Latino that would say, yeah, for gay marriage, And it would have been easy maybe in San Diego, but not in the city. And so we're very appreciative, Alberto, that you're principled, you stuck by us. But we've got to build these bridges. And in closing, I just urge you to do that. And what I'm honored about Larry is because Larry has worked on mothers, we've seen it all and stuff. I was just a little bit louder and more beautiful dresses and gowns. He could not afford the silicone and the nose and everything. And then to have Carlos, because and he's so modest about it. But I was so excited, as you knew. We have one of the most powerful and most important commissions now is the redistricting commission. And I remember the fight when we fought to get the Latino districts and the gay district. And so there's only like 6 people on there. And Carlos 7. 6, and Carlos was 7. See that, Myers? And I was so, I had a couple of councilmen call me about him, and I go, oh yeah, he's the one. And Carlos, and he's so modest about it. Me, I never talk about that I'm a city commissioner. Never let anyone know about it. I'm very modest. But Carlos is so, he's very modest, which is good for you and stuff. But Carlos, I think that in many ways, Larry and I, we're still around, but we passed that torch, to a new generation. And it's Carlos and Joseph Rocha and others that will lead this torch. And it's up to mentor them, and Carlos and I have had a little bumpy relationship at time, but now we're living because all of you have had bumpy relationships. But what I'm saying is that for those of us that are older, we have to learn to be patient and mentor and stuff them wisely. All of you Latinos, Latinas, we need to pick out someone young and mentor them, because that's the only way. When AIDS came, let me tell you the scary part. When AIDS came, many of our leaders took all the knowledge, everything with them to the grave. And I always told myself, and I think Larry probably did, when we witnessed, I said, so now when I go meet with certain politicians, I'll bring someone young. And they'll go, like Ron Roberts, who the hell is this? And I go, you're going to be replacing me someday soon. And they just sit there and listen. So they'll know how to deal. But you need to share this experience, to share the contacts, because our movement it needs that leadership. And we have that leadership. But to us, it's a struggle that continues. I believe that the Latino community in California, Texas, is going to play a big role in the future of us getting equality. So honor, PAC is so important because it's doing those bridges wise. And Lorena, people like Lorena and Berto are people that are continuing, your board members that think we need those straight allies and family, because they're the ones that can talk. So I hope I've given you a little history lesson on this, and I'm very appreciative, and God bless you all, and have a nice evening.